Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Here where we need ya.
Welcome back. All right, give it a stretch. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So, welcome back. Let's hopefully that last work session was a productive one for you. Since I'm going to be out of town, I'm going to be doing my radio show remotely. So I've been kind of like going through some tracks so I can do it during the week because it's going to be a lot. So I got a couple of so I'll have a few more to go through, and I think I should be good. And so that'll be something I don't have to worry about during the week. So yeah, and I'm also working on some my laundry's going, did some ironing. Yeah, feeling pretty good. So I think I got all the stuff I need, at least I guess as far as like clothing and stuff like together. So I just gotta like pack them. I have this it's like they call it a closet in a bag thing, and so you put your stuff in the different compartments, and it kind of like scrunches down, and it fits in your suitcase. And so all you have to do when you get there, just take it out, like unscrunch it or whatever, and then you can like hang it up in the closet. So I did it when I went to my last European trip, and it worked out pretty good. So I'm gonna try again. This is not as long of a trip, so hopefully I'll be able to like make it fit better because I was stretching it last time. All right, neither here nor there. No, that doesn't do anything. Let's talk about this thing that I want to talk about today. So for the first cipher, I talked about how right now I'm trying out to where I can just code a new project all within the browser without having to install anything locally. Like I want to be able to code the project in the browser in like a online IDE, then push that to like GitHub or repository, and then from there it gets deployed, and then you can check it out. And then from that way, wherever I am, I can always just pull down the thing. Not even pull down because I don't have to. Like I can just open up my IDE if I have internet connection, work on a thing, push it, make the changes or whatever, and then it just works. So I wanted to talk about a couple of platforms and services that I've been using. So I spoke about StackBlitz last time. This time I want to talk about Code Sandbox. And so let me share my screen here. So I saw that they had a pretty new blog post. So I wanted to go through it. And it's kind of an interesting question. And so it's kind of like what I'm thinking. And so it's cool to see that there was a blog post on it and kind of get their thoughts. So here we go. So from Code Sandbox, I'm going to copy the link to this blog post and add it to the list of links they could check next to the video. All right. So Code Sandbox, are CDEs coming to replace local development? And so that's kind of like the question I've been thinking about, right? And so does it have to be cloud versus local? Let's explore how CDEs will impact you as a software engineer. And they're going to talk about what a CDE is. And shouts to Christian Alfani. Word. All right, here we go. So at Code Sandbox, we run your code in our cloud infrastructure, configure the environment for you, and keep your code always ready behind a shareable URL. Give it a try with this Next.js example or import your GitHub repo. So last time, like I said, I spoke about StackBlitz. And so the main reason I choose like the deciding factor, depending on whether or not I use StackBlitz or Code Sandbox for a project, is whether or not I need a shareable URL or something that needs a public URL, because StackBlitz is all done within the browser with their web containers, right? Which is kind of amazing. You can do a whole lot of stuff. But sometimes if I'm dealing with like webhooks or whatever, then I need a publicly available URL to point the service to that webhook so that it could do what it's got to do. All right. And so I don't think I can do that with StackBlitz. Yeah, because I've tried to like go to the URL that they give me, the preview URL, like on another, and it doesn't work. So that's why, because Code Sandbox, they actually have like virtual machines that are like available and out there. So that's the main thing that I do when I'm like going back and forth, right? So I use both. I mean, and so now, so the promise of CDEs, right? So now when you read, so okay, but I don't think they specifically say it. Oh yeah, cloud development environment. They went through like a whole paragraph and a half before actually saying what cloud development environment CDE. Neither here nor there. When you read about cloud developments, and this goes to another thing on their site, nice. You will most often find articles emphasizing how it benefits the organization that adopts it. Typical benefits highlighted are reduced onboarding for time for new beginners, improved security, dynamic resource scalability, and environment compatibility. All of this is true, but what does it actually mean for you as an engineer? And for me, the way I use Code Sandbox, I do a bunch of workshops, right? And again, it depends on whether or not I need something for like a webhook, or I can do it all within the browser. So whenever the workshop kind of needs something that you're pointing a service to your application to get information or whatever, I'll most likely use Code Sandbox. And what's cool is that you can have like a GitHub repo of your project and then pull that into Code Sandbox. And so that anybody who uses it, all are on the same page, all on the same level. Everybody starting from the same place, in the same environment. Because sometimes if you're doing like a live demo and there's coding along, and if people are working on their local machines, it's kind of difficult because you don't know everybody's like OS, the operating systems, what version of the operating systems, what else do they have installed on there, all these other things, you know what I mean? And so this way, I think for me, everybody's starting off at the same place. And that's what I really like about doing, coding through the browser, basically. All right. So yeah, so you are likely reading this article already being onboarded. You are likely reading this article already being onboarded with a powerful computer, and the products you work on are already set up and running great. Why would you want to disrupt that and embrace a cloud development environment? Yes. So in this article, I want to bring a different perspective about moving to a cloud development environment. It's funny, they use CDE a bunch, but now it's cloud development environments. And when you could just put CDE, neither here nor there. I'm sorry, just something I came across. All right, the benefits of the organization are clear. For the organization are clear, but for individual engineers, there are often trade-offs to be made. Okay, so this is something I should probably think about, right? As an engineer, when I share these trade-offs, I do it from the perspective of an engineer who builds web applications and related services. That's basically me. I am not a backend or DevOps engineer by practice. Neither am I. I mean, I will do whatever needs to get done, like for Node and stuff. I am not like I'm not the Node know-it-all kind of thing. I can get it working, basically. Probably not the prettiest, but it will work. So I would also not consider myself an engineer who identifies strongly with my personal development environment customization. Okay, so I guess he's saying that some engineer folks identify strongly with their personal development environment customization. Yeah, I just when I install like a IDE or a code editor, it's all the default stuff. I don't change anything because if I ever need to go somewhere else or whatever, like another computer, I just want the default. I don't want to worry about installing stuff. It's just yeah. In the context of evaluating the trade-offs of moving to a CDE, I think that makes me the average engineer. All right, cool. So there are definitely engineers working on way more complicated stacks than me, and also engineers who are more productive because of their personal environment customization. That said, I do think the following reasoning will provide value in your own reflections on what a move to cloud development would entail for you. All right, so then they have a link to the introducing Cloud Sandbox CDE here. So it is not your traditional cloud development environment. It will not take your existing local environment and move it to a data center, virtually creating a box in the cloud for each engineer. It will not take your existing local environment. Okay. So Code Sandbox is a box in the cloud for every branch of a project. I think that's right, because I was working on something and I think I did see like another branch, like another project in there. Interesting. This changes the fundamental concept. You will not bring the branch of a project into your own personal and customized environment. Instead, you'll be visiting the environment customized for that project and branch. Anyone else working on that branch will be in the same environment. Okay, so I think I understand what they're saying. So you're not taking your local environment and you're putting it into like their environment, which then will be the same across everyone. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So if you have like customizations, I guess, or whatever, or you have certain things, that's not going to translate, I guess, to the the Code Sandbox CDE. It's like made so it's across everybody that had the same thing. I believe that's what it's saying. I mean, that's why I have the link so you can read it for yourself. Cool. So what this means in practice is difficult to infer without experience, but reading on, you'll see that this fact has a big impact on the trade-offs we are evaluating. So they talk about two axes of productivity. So one axis is of the productivity. There's you and your tools. On the other one is you and the rest of your team. Okay. So personal productivity and collaboration productivity. Okay, that's a cool way to think of it. How much of a personal productivity trade-off depends on how dependent you are on your local setup. That makes sense. Because if you're used to your own thing, then you're going to be a lot faster than if you had to hop on to something else, like somebody else's machine or what have you. Yeah, that makes sense. And again, that's I think why I just go with the default and just get used to that. And so that way, if I go somewhere else, right, for whatever reason, I need to reinstall the application or whatever, I can just get up and running without having to download stuff and try to remember what I did. But I think you can save your settings, I think, right? Like all your different plugins if you have them. I don't know. I'm going to keep on moving. So the potential drawbacks. So personal customization. As mentioned, the move to cloud development depends on how much of a customized development environment you have created for yourself. Maybe you are satisfied with a theme change in VS Code, or maybe you use tmux and have custom Git operation aliases and scripts ready at hand across projects. Where you are on the spectrum affects the drawbacks of moving to a CDE like Sandbox. Why do I keep saying Cloud Sandbox? Code Sandbox. So working in the cloud also means there is latency. Okay. How much latency depends on your connection and the state of all the components handling your interactions with the cloud environment. That makes sense. Then offline. Working in the cloud means you need an internet connection. If you often find yourself working without an internet connection, there are limited opportunities to take advantage of a CDE. So you have to make sure you're connected to the internet. And my thing is like, if I'm not connected to the internet, I'm not going to be coding because the stuff I need is the web. I need the internet. So yeah. Cool. So the guaranteed benefits, managing the environment. So environments do not always work. This is also true for CDEs. In terms of productivity, there is a difference between local and cloud though. When environments fail on local devices, you will be taking time from fellow engineers to fix something that only occurs on your device. It feels really bad. So, and it's funny because my Chromebook was like, hey, there's a new version of Linux. You want to upgrade? I'm like, sure, why not? Because I did it in my other account on the same Chromebook, worked fine. Of course, my coding account had some sort of issue and it looks like it wiped everything. Like I can't get into like the Linux part to see my projects. So I'm not sure what to do with that. So that's something I'm going to try to put off for another day because my stuff is already backed up on my GitHub repo. So I'm not too stressed about it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not too worried, I think. 'Cause I looked and like because I haven't done anything on my local machine in a minute since coming back from Europe, because everything I was like, I'm gonna try stuff in the cloud. Good thing I did, because now it's looking like I would have lost everything I did, unless I backed up, which I would have done anyway. But it looks like I would have lost any changes or whatever I made. So it's fine. It's fine. Make it work. All right. So at Code Sandbox, your default branch represents the starting point of every engineer as they create a branch. It is literally a copy of the VM running the latest version of the project. That means if an issue occurs, you are not decreasing the productivity of others. You are proactively preventing a productivity decrease of others. You will feel much better. Nice. And then they talk about code reviews, which is pretty cool. So you can like check out. So instead of like having to like locally pull a branch and kind of like wipe out what you're working on to go check this out, you can actually just pull that branch into a cloud CDE, and then don't have to work cloud CDE. The C is whatever. CDE, and without having to touch your branch that you are working on. So you can like start with that one. So that's pretty dope. Yes, that means if someone needs you to your review, you will have to take note of the branch you are working on and stash any pending changes. Check out the branch to review, install and or build any dependencies. So so a bunch of basically what I was saying, but much more eloquently. And so working in a CDE like Code Sandbox, you can perform a review by just opening a link to the branch or opening the branch directly in VS Code in a new window. And this branch doesn't only contain the code, it contains the whole environment with the code already running. Doing a review requires minimal context switching. So that's pretty dope. And I guess there's a video here so you can check out. And asking for help, work continuation, no project conflicts, which is a big one. Multiple devices. Again, that's what I was talking about. Like I'll be able to, as long as I have internet connection, I can work on the code wherever. Personal customization. So there's that. Latency, offline. So they kind of go through it. It's pretty dope. And so the future of CDEs and Code Sandbox, bringing in the whole product team. So so a lot of cool stuff. Continuous integration, full stack branches. And so it's a lot of good stuff there. So I put a link to the blog post so you can go read through the whole thing for yourself. But this is kind of like similar to what I've been thinking about and what I'm kind of experiencing now working on my project. And it's been going pretty good so far. Like it's pretty dope. Like I'm able just to kind of like try stuff without having to worry about like, oh, it's going to take up space on my local machine. I can just do it, try it. If it doesn't work, I just go back. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know. It's been kind of like a breath of fresh air for me. And so I'm looking to do more of that. And I'm bigger and bigger projects. I'm going to get y'all back to work because I am trying to get back to work. I want to go through these tracks and get that set up, finish packing, and then so I can like focus on this coding and finish my laundry. That's almost done. And then just focus on coding for the rest of the day. So try to get all this small stuff out the way so I can focus on coding for the rest of the night. All right. Get y'all back to work. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to send y'all off with some traveling music. This right here is Nujabes featuring Pawnee B. The track is called Thank You. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you around. Till next time, wish you much productivity and y'all be safe. Be easy. Peace.
Well, let me start from the heart. I just want to stay. I thank all for showing up to me. I appreciate this unique opportunity. I'm gonna rock so hard you never stop supporting me. I'm gonna show you how music is more meaning to life. I thank you all for showing up to me. I appreciate this unique opportunity. I'm gonna rock so hard you never stop supporting me. I'm gonna show you how music is more meaning to life. But let me start from the heart. I just want to stay. I thank you all for showing up to me. I appreciate this unique opportunity. I'm gonna rock so hard you never stop supporting me. I'm gonna show you how music is more meaning to life. I thank you all for showing up to me.